Hi, I'm Miranda Johnson, and I'm going to be talking about mental health in college athletes. So, for a quick overview of the topic, the importance is that mental health challenges are increasingly recognized as a significant issue for college athletes, impacting their well being, performance, and academic success. My focus areas for this presentation are the unique stressors placed on college athletes, the barriers to them seeking help for mental illnesses or struggles, and the roles of coaches and their impacts on these athletes. Why does it matter? Mental health is a critical aspect in sports, but it's often overlooked. As an athlete myself, I can say that many times I've known that my teammates or myself have been struggling mentally or physically, and we haven't got the help that we needed because of a fear of seeming weak or less competitive to our teammates or coaches, which is something that I'll go into more detail later on in my presentation. But it's really something that needs to be focused on and talked more about in the world of sports. Another reason it matters is that college athletes also face unique stressors that can impact their mental health, yet many of them do not seek help. Increasing awareness about this and providing more support systems are essential for athletes and their success, both on the field and off the field. Unique stressors for athletes can come in all different types of forms and ways, but what I have for this presentation is balancing academics and athletics is something that can be very hectic and very stressful for athletes. I know performing at a high level causes a busy schedule for athletes. Like in the athletic side, we have to do weightlifting, go to theory, practice, study hall, games, while all managing to do your homework, go to class, and keep a good grade. The pressure to perform at a high level is also something that can cause a lot of stress on an athlete with high expectations from family, fans, teammates, coaches, and even themselves causes a lot of stress on athletes. Injuries and recovery is something that's not talked about a lot in the world of sports, but oftentimes when athletes get injured, they go into a very dark place just because you know that your team needs you and you know that you need to be out there, but you can't do that because of the injury. And a lot of times athletes rush through the recovery time period just to be able to play, but it also will cause depression, anxiety, and stress. Identity and social strain is another unique stressor for athletes. I have a quote from a study examining athlete well being that showed lower self esteem, the feeling of being unappreciated, and a greater perfectionism, which oftentimes, if you hold yourself at such a high standard, can come with all of these things as an athlete. Stigma around mental health. There's a lot of stigma around mental health when athletes feel that they can't get get the help they need because of the stigma around mental health in sports, but most of the reason is the fear of weakness. Many athletes feel that asking for help can make them seem weak or less competitive. The pressure to tough it out in sports comes from the cultural values in sports, often prioritizing mental health toughness, causing athletes to ignore mental health needs. Lack of confidentiality. Athletes worry that seeking help might affect their reputation, playing time, or relationship with coaches. The roles of coaches. Creating an environment where athletes can talk about their mental health openly is huge in the world of sports. Athletes are the main role model, coaches are the main role model for athletes. And feeling like athletes can talk to their coaches will create such a different environment in sports and let athletes feel that they can talk to coaches and they can reach out to people and get help when they need it. I'm encouraging a healthy balance between academics, sports, and self care is something that coaches really need to work on. Just from doing research about this topic and talking to some of my teammates, I've seen that there's not a healthy balance between these three. And once coaches realize that they do need to encourage a healthy balance between them and that sports isn't an athlete's whole life, I think that it will completely change the perspective of athletes and provide a healthier way of living and playing sports. A third reason, a third role of coaches is coaches, athletic trainers, and academic advisors can work together to support athletes. yes, having a coach that supports you is huge, but also having everybody around you supporting you is even bigger. Having your athletic trainers feel like they're someone that you can talk to, or your academic advisor feeling like there's someone you can talk to and reach out to get help, will completely change the way athletes feel and how they keep everything inside. Maybe that this will help them reach out and get more help when they need it. My conclusion: mental health isn't just something that should be pushed aside. Mental health is just as important for college athletes as physical health, and increased awareness, support, and open dialogue can help break the stigma and provide athletes with the tools they need to thrive. By addressing mental health, we can ensure that athletes perform better, stay healthy, and succeed both on the field and off the field. Finally, it should be remembered that their worth is not determined by nor limited to performance, and that mental health will always come first. I think that this is a topic that's not often discussed or talked about as it should be, because most of the time athletes are seen like this very strong character, when a lot of times they're struggling with stuff that they don't really want to reach out to people about. But I think by doing all of these things, providing them with resources they need, allowing them to feel like they can talk to their coaches, their teammates, their trainers, will all help athletes and maybe make a stronger world of sports. And I think that mental health is often seen as like a weakness, but we can turn it into a strength for athletes if we just work together and provide them with the resources they need. Thank you.